As we've been discovering over the last few months, there are far more mobs in the Minecraft universe than we've ever realized. And would you believe it, Sub? Despite all the new Hoglins, Striders, and Piglins, the old mobs also have some secrets. It's time for 10 secrets you didn't know about mobs in Minecraft. We're digging deep for some of the closest hell secrets of both the lore of these mobs and their interesting various gameplay mechanics. Are you ready, Sub? Let's go! Number 1. Striders. These are the newest mob, so it makes sense that we don't know all that much about them yet. They're still in development after all, so a bunch of things could always be changed up at the last minute. For now, though, you gain roughly 1 to 7 experience orbs for breeding Striders together, and it takes a total of 20 minutes for a baby to grow to a full adult form. That's an awful lot of waiting around in this dangerous nether biome, Sub. Luckily, you can grab some warped fungi, which actually accelerates the baby Strider's growth by 10% each time. You can do this over and over, and hopefully, you'll have a new fully grown Strider in no time. Players that ride Striders can fall into lava, but they won't be dismounted, and the Strider won't be hurt. Instead, it'll just bob back up and walk on the surface. So all you need to do is make sure you've got some fire resistance on before you engage in a long jump. Riding Striders into flowing lava will cause them to shoot upwards, which could be used as a great elevator or escape method. Surprisingly, quite the useful mob indeed. Number 2. Figlins and Hoglins. The second latest additions to the game are more or less one and the same. While they do fight and hunt each other, they share a connection in that their children play. Up to 3 baby piglins can ride a baby hoglin, which is super adorable and cute. You may also not know what the piglins do after a successful hunt, as it's exclusive to the Bedrock Edition, but they do a cool little dance. It makes sense that these piglins are musical creatures. After all, they listen to Pigstep. Hoglins and Piglins alike will spawn in the new Piglin Bastion generation. You can even gather netherite tools there while trading and gathering resources. Just watch out for any aggressive Hoglins. They may be the only hostile mob that can be bred in the game, but they still pack a punch. A random amount of damage each time, so there's no point in chancing it. Number 3. More nether mobs. There's a lot of other creatures in the nether that have been around for ages. Despite this, they still have some pretty interesting secrets. The Blaze and Magma Cube were added in the Beta 1.9 pre-release. The Blaze actually has no central body. If you look really closely, you'll realize it's just smoke particle effects and a few spinning yellow tubes. Kinda creepy. The texture of these guys were actually tweaked recently in the 1.14 update to make them a little brighter. Magma cubes now have a lovely home in the form of the basalt delta. And from what we can gather, these are basically just regular slimes that either wandered into the nether or got trapped in a volcano. The last nether mob on our list is the Ghast. But did you know you can actually clip inside of one? Although I wouldn't recommend trying it. Ghast can luckily be taken out with one swift bow shot, provided it's charged all the way up. You can always know when they're coming thanks to their calls, which were recorded using C418, Minecraft's music composer's cat. You learn something every day. Number 4. Slimes. You may wonder why you don't see this mob very often, or why it only seems to appear on flat worlds. Well, slimes only spawn in specifically designated slime chunks, which are pretty random. They can only spawn in these chunks, and below level 40. They can only appear in swamp biomes between levels 50 to 70. There are 4 sets of slimes, and if you name the biggest one and then kill it, it'll split into clones that are still named the same thing. Small slimes are the weakest of all mobs in the game, with a single health point and unable to deal any damage at all. Aw, look at these guys. Luckily, you can grind them up. A player can earn up to 28 experience orbs from just one large slime and its descendants. Pretty cool to know. Number 5. Zombies and Skeletons. Each of these classic mobs have since had their own variant added to the game. Zombies that spawn in deserts actually become husks. These are similar to zombies, but due to the hot conditions of the desert, they can survive in sunlight. However, if the husks drown in water, it becomes a regular zombie. Skeletons can be replaced with strays in frozen, snowy, or ice biomes across the overworld. Strays spawn in groups of 4, so you need to be careful on the approach if you spot one. There could be more lurking. Once dealt with, they have a chance to drop bones, arrows, and even arrows of slowness, which they can also shoot towards you. If caught in close combat underwater, strays will actually stop using their bows and hit you instead, causing slowness. Number 6. Jockeys. One day, the Minecraft team were joking around, placing a zombie on a chicken. Then suddenly, they realized how scary and aggressive the monster they had created had become. Previously, they tried this with the classic skeleton spider jockey, which can still be found in-game today. Now in caves, there's also the chance to run into a chicken jockey with a baby zombie on top, ready to mess you up. So many players have died from baby zombies and random jockey spawn sub. It could happen at any time, to any of us. If a skeleton horse is struck by lightning, it'll also become a jockey. Not just one, but 4 skeletal horsemen. Essentially the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. No biggie or anything. I'm sure you can handle them, sub. What do you guys say? Like this video, and sub will beat those horsemen's butts. They'll never come back, and he can continue making awesome videos. Number 7. End mobs. Endermites may be the smallest hostile mobs in the game, but they're definitely not the weakest. They have a 5% chance to spawn when an ender pearl lands, and they attack players within a 16-block radius. Much like silverfish, endermites act on a hive mind, and are all drawn to the same target when one is attacked. Lucky for you, sub, endermites despawn within 2 minutes unless given a name tag. They're also weak against Bane of Arthropods enchantment, so maybe go fetch one of those. It's not often used. Endermen usually hate endermites, and will attempt to kill them whenever they spawn within 60 blocks. That's a pretty big radius. I wonder why these guys are so mad at one another. Number 8. Bees. Combined, these guys are a pretty powerful force, able to take on any mob. However, most of the time, they remain peaceful and in smaller groups. Sounds a bit unusual, but bees can actually be attached by a lead. Bees also actually remember how many crops they've pollinated in order for them to head back to the hive afterwards, naturally generating hive spawn with 3 bees in them. And there's a 5% chance to spawn in plains or sunflower plains. Don't worry, sub, you can find them elsewhere, just with a much rarer chance of 0.2% in forests. Number 9. Illagers. The invading force of the overworld undoubtedly have dastardly secrets to hide, and I'll place a big bet on them lying within the woodland mansion. Strange wool block structures like a recreation of the end portal, as well as chickens and other mobs. Weird, right? Pillagers are also the only hostile mob with durability on their weapons. Crossbows will actually run out, leaving these gray goons with no way to attack. I sure wish this could happen with skeletons. Number 10. Dolphins. Dolphins don't spawn in frozen oceans, so no point in looking around here, sub. They're the fastest moving mob in water, and specifically swim in groups. Dolphins will leap from the surface, sometimes able to clear block hurdles in order to get air. And they can even follow or chase players in boats to provide a speed buff of Dolphin's Grace to help you out on your travel. Unlike a lot of other mobs in game, the recorded sounds used are from actual dolphins in a wildlife park. Think that's cool? What's your favorite mob noise in the game? Let us know down below. And we'll see you next time, sub. Bye-bye.